Well, they put it all in perspective. When it comes to media coverage of Trump or anyone even remotely on the right, it's become a total circus. Biased double standards, a flat-out misinformation, and it's become the norm. This exact issue came up on a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, where Joe and Chris Williamson discussed how exhausting the MSM antics have become. Their points were so on target that even modern-day Stalin, aka my boy Hassan Piker, had to agree with them in a separate reaction. And today we're going to cover it all, so as always, please make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos just like this.
I have to say, I have such news politics fatigue already. We're what, 2 months into the sort of presidency, and it is the velocity of bullshit.
Stupidity.
If you can get 1 million plays in a day because Trump got bopped on the nose by a boom mic, it just, the appetite is, it seems endless for it. It just feels, it's exhausting. I'm kind of having to check out. And I know that people say, oh, well, it's a luxurious position. You don't need to pay attention to politics. It's a luxurious position for you to be in. People at the bottom, they do need to pay attention to politics. It's an interesting stat because actually the most educated, wealthiest people are the ones that spend the most time consuming news and talking about politics. It's the people at the bottom rung of the ladder that don't. So that's not true. I'm just exhausted.
Yep, we're not even 100 days into Trump's second presidency and the media is already in full meltdown mode again. Not a single day has gone by without some hit piece, exaggerated headline, or flat-out smear being pushed about him or anyone in his administration. And now at this point, it just feels like we're 2 years into his presidency. And the thing is, they never report on what's actually happening, like how the southern border crisis has finally been brought under control, or multiple American hostages being freed from other countries. No, they're too busy cherry-picking their quotes and trying to stir up outrage. It's clear that they want chaos, and if they can't find any way, well, they're going to manufacture it.
But it's just anything for clicks, man.
Slow week for news.
Anything for clicks.
That was something that I noticed, a trend that I've noticed over the last couple of years. Legacy media is really struggling to garner attention itself. It seems like fewer and fewer people are listening to it. We saw that over the last election. You know, it seems to me like the best way that legacy media can gain traffic is to talk about independent media.
Yeah.
How many times are we seeing headlines about Andrew Huberman or about the right-wing manosphere pipeline and how it's getting people to do this? Or the other side, like, why is there not a Joe Rogan of the left? Like, you know, whatever the headline is, more and more the way that legacy media is able to achieve traffic is only in reference to independent media.
That is the second aspect of it. Since the MSM is struggling to stay relevant, they're not only focusing on Trump, but also on independent sources. Simply put, the days when they controlled the narrative are gone, and that's why they're stuck referencing quotes and takes from the very creator they used to dismiss as YouTubers or conspiracy theorists. For instance, if you just Google the term Joe Rogan to CNN, you'd see the majority of the results cover him in a negative light. It's a desperate attempt to stay in the conversation. Instead of settling the agenda, they're reacting to it. The trust is gone, ratings are tanking, and their relevance is fading, which is the exact point Hassan expanded on, and this was the reaction to the same clip that we just showed you.
This is correct. These are two guys that I don't agree with, but he's right about this. Legacy publishers have dropped the ball spectacularly over and over again for two reasons. One, for a good reason. Good reason as in, like, there's a good reason why people are saying, I don't trust you any longer, like Israel-related coverage, for example. And also, for a very bad reason. A very bad reason why people don't trust legacy media is because of the faucet of misinformation that is infinitely easier to understand and read. These two issues work side by side with one another. If you are serially wrong in ways that people can comprehend quickly, they're not going to trust you any longer. Meanwhile, you have people hamming up parasocial relationships on the independent side of things where people genuinely think like, oh, Joe Rogan is my friend. Hassan is my friend. He's in my living room all day, every day. There's no way to compete with people like myself if you're a faceless journalist.
Exactly. The MSM didn't just lose trust, they actively destroyed it. For years, they've been wrong on major stories, pushed false narratives, and in some cases, outright censored even real-time events that didn't fit their agenda. The damage has been self-inflicted, people noticed. Naturally, when trust broke down, audiences began looking elsewhere for honest coverage. A recent Pew Research Center report found that, quote, about 1/3 of US adults regularly get news from Facebook and YouTube. and the numbers are only set to grow. Independent media didn't need flashy graphics or big budgets, we just reported what was actually happening without trying to spin it. That's why so many people have made the switch. So if you appreciate real coverage, please drop a like and subscribe. It helps more than you think. Joe also talked about a recent Media Matters article that painted him as some sort of a right-wing talking point, and his reaction to this was hilarious.
There was a really stupid graph that someone put up of how right-wing social media and new media people
That was the Media
dominate.
Matters study. Yeah. This is
And
interesting.
I was
Jamie,
at the
can you try
top
and
of the
find that?
list. I was at the top of the list, and I was like, I feel like the way Caitlyn Jenner must have felt like when she won Woman of the Year. Like, it's so quick. I got to the top of the list. I'm not even right wing. Just because I support Trump, I supported him over the rest of the nonsense that was going on when you're trying to push through someone without even a primary.
Here it is.
This is it. I'm number one. It's kind of funny. Like, they're putting Theo Vaughn in
Lex
there.
Friedman.
Yeah, that's Lex Friedman. That's hilarious to put him in there.
That Media Matters piece couldn't be more delusional. Their piece made a blanket statement saying that the right wing dominates the online media space, claiming that, quote, 9 out of the 10 top online shows assessed are right-leaning. First of all, Media Matters is rated as a far-left outlet by all sides, so let's not pretend they're objective observers. Second, their analysis, quote, looked entirely at shows with an ideological bent, finding that over a third self-identify as non-political, even though 72% of those shows were determined to be right-leaning. They threw Joe Rogan in that group despite the fact that he's openly supported universal healthcare and regularly criticizes both parties. Then they tossed in Theo Vaughn, who's more likely to joke about bad cocaine than argue tax policy. This proves that their categorization is flawed. Then they slap the right-wing label on anyone that doesn't talk about progressive causes 24/7, and the worst part is some creators on YouTube are already treating this article like it is gospel. For example, David Pakman wasted no time jumping in and saying this.
So what's happened is that the right has built an empire of alternative media. And it is working, and it worked in 2024, and we talked about it in our postmortem about the 2024 election. You know, we talk about the power of Fox News. The real action seems to be happening online. In 2024, Trump reached 23 million people a week through podcasts and online shows. That is 4 times the reach of Kamala Harris. So these are not fringe outlets anymore. They are really shaping elections. They drive the narratives. They control political discourse in ways that most of the mainstream media doesn't even understand.
He is correct about the discourse part, but how was Kamala supposed to connect with podcast audiences when the shows she went on barely cracked a few thousand views? Her campaign completely dropped the ball. They picked safe, low-impact appearances instead of platforms that actually move the needle. Joe went on to explain why the far left fails to understand people these days, and I think he summed it up pretty well.
Yeah, and anything masculine is right wing. Anything. You cannot be masculine. Like, you cannot be interested in physical fitness, anything.
It's a pipeline to being right wing.
Yes. You can't like fast cars.
Nope.
You're not allowed to. You're not even allowed to like Teslas anymore, which are
Misogynist.
the fastest cars.
Yep.
Yeah, you're a misogynist. You're probably racist, maybe a Nazi. I'm going to put a swastika in your car just to let everybody know.
Like I said earlier, the left seems to have this unspoken checklist of approved behaviors, and if you don't hit every single one, you're instantly right-wing. It's gotten so ridiculous in their eyes that being moderate or even just asking questions now, like myself, qualifies me as a right-winger. The only way to earn your way into their approved circle is to constantly virtue signal and prove your allegiance to their every shifting list of acceptable belief. This gatekeeping mentality is one of the main reasons they keep losing the messaging war, and unless they change course, well, they're going to keep losing ground in the media space for years to come. But I'd love to know your thoughts here, so let's get the conversation rolling in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please share with your friends. It means the world. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.